there guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well and staying safe. So everyone will have noticed that in that intro section, that was not me playing. That was my good friend Chris Palmer, and that was a snippet from his song Love, which is coming out soon. We don't know when yet because quarantine's locked everything down. So that is coming out on his new EP, which is coming soon. So basically what today is, it's an interview with Chris, and it marks the start of a new series on my channel which I am naming Highly Strung, where I'm going to interview guitar players, hopefully a bunch of people, find out and go into sort of their lives as a guitarist in their past, present and future, hopefully. So this is the first episode, and hopefully sometime soon, when all these restrictions are lifted, Chris will be able to join me for some videos. We've got a couple of things we've been chatting about doing behind the scenes, and it seemed like an appropriate way to introduce this series and also him to the channel by, finding out a bit more about him. So we've got an interview with him. It's about 40 minutes long, I think, and you'll find out what the song is, what sort of inspired him, and we're going to go into detail on a few aspects of his guitar playing life, like I said, past, present and future. So I really hope you enjoy the interview, and let's get into it. So how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. Yeah, I'm doing good. I mean, we're all in lockdown. That's not fantastic, but I'm in a pretty good situation for,
You've got a few housemates, haven't you, right?
Yeah, I've still got two of my housemates, and then my girlfriend's moved in with me.
Oh, it's you're rolling in it then.
Yeah,
It's
exactly,
ideal
yeah.
for you then.
I'm alright. I can't complain.
So let's just say, tell me about your childhood. Did you come from a musical family, musical parents, brother, sister, all that sort of thing?
So out of my siblings, I'm the only one who's like really musical. My sister's not musical at all. My little brother has sort of dabbled in and out, but has never really found the right instrument or the right style for him. My dad is probably the most musical. He plays bass, and it's like I've grown up like knowing that he played bass, and I've seen him play. I've only seen him play in one gig though, so it wasn't something he did seriously. It was just kind of a fun thing on the side, really.
A thing that you had like sort of lying around the house, sort of thing that you just pick up every now and then.
Yeah.
And then the mum was not musical at all, just...
No, my mum's not musical, but she is. She works in like an art gallery, so...
Oh,
like
so
I get
she's
a
like
lot
in the creative.
Yeah, she's in the creative like sphere, and I get a lot of my sort of... Like, I know that I can do this because my mum does like art, so, there's like a lot of crossover between those two fields.
Yeah, definitely. So what made you want to start then?
Honestly, Guitar Hero 2. What a great game. I didn't have it, but I went around to my friend's house, and it was just so random. He just started playing Guitar Hero 2. He banged on Sweet Child of Mine, and I heard that, and I was just like, wow, like, I need to learn how to play that. I need to learn how to do that. And yeah, I mean, my dad was always into punk rock, like AC/DC and all that sort of stuff. And he knew about Guns N' Roses, but I don't think he'd shown me yet. And so, yeah, I just told him I wanted to play the guitar. I was sort of in between playing the guitar or the drums at that time, when I was about 9. But yeah, Sweet Child of Mine was just the one that sort of like stirred me onto the guitar track rather than the drumming track.
It's interesting that you say Guitar Hero, because for me, Guitar Hero was something that I played and then just continued to play Guitar Hero. It never like made the crossover, but I'm sure for a lot of people like yourself, I think it was a lot of the reason why they started playing.
Yeah, my dad always encouraged me to go from Guitar Hero to guitar. But I know a lot of people.
Play the actual instrument.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you mentioned you were about 9. So was that when you first sort of picked it up?
When I first picked it up was my 10th birthday, so it's nice and easy for me to remember how many years I've been playing, because literally bang on 10th birthday, and then I shortly got lessons after that.
Oh, so you're not self-taught then?
No, not at all. I've had like 4 tutors during my 12 years of playing. I don't feel like I've really needed one for a while, but I've had one for a little while.
Yeah, well, I know you had the same teacher as me at uni, Al.
Yeah.
And you got stuck in the jazz boat with him, as
Oh
I
yeah,
remember you
yeah.
saying.
I was in a lot of jazz bands during uni. Which, don't get me wrong, I love jazz. I absolutely love jazz. And Al was a great teacher for that, and I learnt a lot through that. But at the same time, it was like I was doing a jazz course, which was not what our course is. It's not very specific.
Yeah, it's quite. I do like him as a tutor, as you say. He's a good tutor, but for the jazz, it's quite pigeonholed in that. So you mentioned their drums, that you were in between them. So did you ever start drums, or was it just a decision of I might fancy playing drums?
Do you know, like years later, I got an electric drum kit. It was a really crappy one, to be honest, which I hope my dad never sees this video because he helped buy me it. But I did start. It just never really caught on for me. Like, I did really enjoy it, but yeah, I don't know what happened. I just kind of let it go, really.
So it didn't bite you by the same bug as the guitar did?
No, like there wasn't enough material that I really wanted to learn like there was with the guitar. Like with the guitar, there was sort of like a kind of quite natural evolution for me to go on. So it started off wanting to learn Sweet Child of Mine, which obviously I couldn't do right at the beginning, but having that goal to go up. And then with drums, I don't know, it just, the bite wasn't quite as there. I guess it's just because it's not a very melodic instrument, and I guess that's like the biggest part of the passion for the music is for me.
Yeah. So you just literally, you've mentioned Sweet Child of Mine 3 times now. So Slash must be a massive influence on your early playing.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anyone else who was with that?
Early playing, I guess. Well, I used to listen to a lot of AC/DC.
Like me.
Yeah. So that Slash. I'm trying to think who else. Like in the early days, who else? I listened to a lot of Green Day. So a lot of them were actually really quite rhythm based. But I was very much my solely influence was probably Slash, and then obviously I had my like guitar tutor who was showing me different songs and stuff like that. But a lot of my early guitar times was either learning songs by Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, Green Day, or was doing grades.
Oh, okay. So that's why you got the Les Paul, obviously, for Slash.
Yeah, definitely. It's even got the same like colour and everything.
Oh wow! Have you got the Slash pickups in it?
I have one of them. Yeah.
Oh, you went half it because one of my mates a massive Slash fan, and he's got both the Duncan designed Slash ones.
Yeah, I wish I had both. Honestly, they're actually really good.
I've never seen you play that guitar ever. I didn't even know you had another guitar. If I'm being totally honest.
No, yeah. It needs to go in the shop. It constantly needs maintenance. The jack is always kind of going a bit wrong on it. Like, I must have taken it into the shop 3 times. I've had my mate who's an engineer solder it. It's just a little bit unreliable most of the time, especially for live and stuff like that when you're moving about.
Well, you've moved me on quite nicely there for the first gig.
Oh right, yeah, first gig. I was 11 for my first gig.
Wow.
I have a picture, which I could send you if you want. You can flash that up or whatever.
Definitely.
I am tiny, and it's with that Les Paul there. And it's with a program I used to be a part of called School of Rock and Pop. Mm-hmm. Heavily inspired by obviously like Jack Black's School of Rock film. And they basically get people who, you have to be year 7 and up, so secondary school in the UK, and they put you together into a band and would teach you the songs that you wanted to learn, and then they put the gig on for you. So it's a great way of getting like gigging early in an organised like sense where you knew like nothing was going to go wrong, it was all organised for you. You just had to go up and play basically.
Yeah, you were going to have a lot of help sort of thing like that.
Yeah.
Did you play at school concerts as well?
Later on, about when I did like GCSE music, we had a couple of like ensembles that did assemblies, but music wasn't like that big in my school. Honestly, there wasn't that many opportunities to perform. There were a couple, but it was mainly through School of Rock, so like extracurricular activities that I got most of my gigging and experience in that.
Yeah. See that for me, for your like sort of thing there is completely different to mine, where my school were really, really heavily reliant on that whole live thing. Like we put on probably 6 or 7 concerts a year.
Wow.
It was insane.
That's really cool. I wish my school had done that.
Yeah, we became a performing arts academy.
Right.
Just as I was about to leave, which was lovely.
Well, bugger.
So what was the song you played at that gig then?
What was the song I played? I think I remember actually because I asked my guitar tutor because they were wanting suggestions, and he was like, "Oh, this song's really good," because we had a bunch of singers, like very few band members, and we wanted a song that was cool and a little bit rocky, but that everyone could get into, and so we chose "Starlight" by Muse, which is an absolute banger.
I don't even know that song.
Give it a listen. It's so great. It's just like anyone can get down to that song. Like anyone can like that song. So yeah, we chose that. We played that, and I don't remember anything going wrong. I don't know. I don't really remember it so long
there's
ago.
not a horrendous there's not like a horrendous video your mum's got in like her archives of footage of you like messing up a load of notes or anything like that.
No, thankfully not. I do have one story from secondary school where I did just mess up catastrophically. Me and my mate were playing an acoustic version of, what was it? It was a Bullet for My Valentine song. I feel like it was Tears Don't Fall, but it was an acoustic version.
I was just about to say, was it Tears Don't Fall?
Yeah, and before going on stage, I sound checked. Everything was in tune. My guitar was fine. Put it down. I come back to it when I'm about to go on stage. I start playing, and it's at least half a step out. Like my B string is just half a step out, and like the solo is like heavily reliant on that B string. I'm just like, oh, this sounds awful. But I just had to like grit my teeth and just get through it. It was so bad. It was honestly terrible.
Oh no, my music teacher would have stopped us. He used to, if someone was really out of tune, he would literally stand up at the back in a concert and be like, "Stop!" and then be like, "Can you just tune your guitar, please?"
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Have you ever seen Whiplash?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've seen the trailer though, and he like throws drumsticks around the room and goes crazy.
Yeah. You get the idea then.
Yeah, he wasn't that bad, but it was like if you were out of tune, and he used to berate us for it. He used to berate the guitarist especially because I was a singer at that point.
Oh right, yeah.
And he used to complain at them all the time. But at least he didn't do the same. Your song literally "Sweet Child of Mine" that got you into guitar. We did live, and the guitarist started playing the intro, got 3 notes in, and just went and just completely like messed all the notes up, and had to literally say sorry about that and start again. It was very embarrassing.
Oh god. Performance nerves. You're a bitch.
Yeah, pretty much. So coming up to more present day, what made you choose YSJ?
YSJ, so a combination of different things. Before actually deciding which unit to go to, I was going to go to BIM Manchester. I'd passed the audition, I had my place, had everything. I'm pretty sure for 2 years I've actually still been getting emails from BIM Manchester being like, "You're not coming to your lectures," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't go there." But I decided Manchester wasn't quite the city for me at that time. I wasn't quite ready to move away, and I wasn't sure if the course was right for me. It was very, I just wasn't sure if it was the right path for me at that moment. So I took a year out. In that year, I did a bunch of education work, a bunch of teaching guitar, And I found out about York St John and York St John's music and education course, which was just like a beautiful blending of everything that I've been doing. So like for like 9-10 years at that point, and then my new like passion for education, and it was just a perfect match. It's close to home, but it's far enough away that you know, you can feel like you're independent, yeah, and you're your own person. And it's just such a like nice city. It's so like compact, and it was just the right step for me at that time.
Yeah. I remember you saying, I think you said one point when we were chatting about like unis and stuff, you were talking about the guys who were at Manchester being quite like, I don't know if it's like, you said there was like a load of groups, so there was like the guys with the 8 strings, the like shred metal guys, and then there was like sort of like segmented groups of people. Did you fit into one of the groups, or were you just sort of like, oh my word, like I'm just sort of at this audition and I've thought, I don't know where I fit in?
No, definitely not. I think I was the only person there without EMGs in their guitar, which, and yeah, I like, no offense to, you know, anyone who obviously goes there, because I didn't go there, so I can't say that I really know much. But from my one day there, it was interesting. It was an interesting experience. I think I was the only one there with single coils and a Fender. I think everyone else was Ibanez, EMGs, 8 strings, and the classic emo fringe. But so yeah, it wasn't the right fit for me, but I'm sure other people have enjoyed it there.
Yeah, from what you've described, it sounds a lot like the where is it, the Berkeley, is it? Because I know a lot of the guys there focus on that sort of 8 string and the shreddy stuff. So, what is your favourite riff or song to play? It can be at the moment or of all time, whatever.
Okay. Can I say Smoke on the Water?
I mean, you can say it if you want.
Well, it's not true, but you had to fit it in there somewhere in this interview. I remember playing that at a gig last year. It was at Archie's Day. You'll remember Archie's Day. And I was up on that stage, and it was a horrible experience, just because the sound engineers were taking forever to do anything. I was up there 11 till 1, and one time I just started playing it, and then the rest of the band joined in, and I was just like, no, we have to stop. Favourite riff at the moment? I like playing my own stuff at the moment, which sounds really...
No, it's perfectly fine.
But yeah, I mean, because I'm working on new stuff. I'm working on 2 new projects. And my first project hasn't even come out yet. And so I'm mainly just workshopping through that. Like, I'll pick it up and I'll play it, and I'll be like, do I still like it? And I'll be like, yeah, I do. And then I'll try and find something that goes along with it. If we're talking about, obviously, I played the Sweet Child of Mine riff maybe 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I really like a riff recently, if we're not talking about my stuff, Rain by Ruben Wan. Is a really cool guitar kind of R&B track that I did a cover of on my channel. It's one of the first videos up there, and that's really cool.
I was going to say,
yeah,
all your stuff will be linked down below if people want to check that out as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So with the playing segment we heard at the beginning was Love, I believe. Is that a new song that you've got coming out then? Yeah,
that is. So throughout this year, I wrote a whole EP. It's written, recorded, and we were we were producing it, you know, mixing and mastering it right at the stage that coronavirus hit, and so all of our, you know, facilities, the studio that I was going to was obviously had to shut down for the past 3 months. So it's a full track. What was uploaded was just a snippet there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a full track that's coming out on my upcoming EP. It Comes From The Heart is the EP name, and I'll hopefully be posting more and more about that when I kind of know when it's going to come out. Get a bit of a lead up to that.
Announce it.
Yeah, because I have no idea really when it's going to come out. So, you know, if you like the stuff that you've heard on my channel, and that you've heard at the beginning of this video, then, you know, subscribe and maybe follow my Instagram, because that's where you'll kind of find out more. See more.
That's where you'll see the information of it all coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So the white Strat, we touched on this a little bit earlier. So you pretty much, as I said before, exclusively play this white Strat unless you're playing acoustically. Is that Hendrix inspired, or is it just like another player that you wanted that from? What's the story behind it?
I wouldn't say it's Hendrix inspired, which would be probably the normal one, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So at the time, I listened to quite a bit of John Mayer. I'd say I was playing a lot of John Mayer in the band I was in at the time. It's completely different from the guitar that I'd had. And I listened to quite a bit of like J-rock at the time, a lot of like Japanese like inspired rock music and stuff like that. But the main thing for getting it was just I went into the shop, I saw it, I kind of pointed at it and like, asked her to try it out. And then it just felt right straight away. Some guitars take a bit of time to break in, take a bit of time to get used to, and that's natural. But for this one, for me, it was just like a perfect fit straight away. And me
it's like
being
a guitar that was meant for you, sort of thing.
Yeah, just the action, the neck, everything about it, the sound of the single coils. And I love the single coil sound on clean and distorted stuff. So I just fell in love, and I must have been, I want to say like 17 or something, and I like basically took, because I had the money for one, I'd been saving up for ages. I just told the guy, I was like, I'll take this. And he was a bit shocked, like, usually a 17-year-old goes into a guitar shop and just tries out a bunch of stuff and doesn't get anything.
Then leaves, yeah.
Yeah.
So what model is it? Is it an American, Mexican? What is it?
It's an American standard. I believe it's a 2015 one. I'm not sure though. I'm not completely positive. But yeah, it's an American standard. It's just stock everything. I haven't changed anything. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So yeah, it's served me well. I mean, I might need to, after this whole lockdown thing's over, I think I might need to replace some of the frets. I might need a bit of refretting, a bit of adjusting with the action.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's starting, some of these, it's not bad, don't get me wrong, but I only noticed it the other day when I was restringing it. Some of the frets are wearing down a little, but it's still got, plenty of years left in it, easily.
Oh yeah, I mean, once you get it refretted, you'll be fine. It probably just needs a crown and polish, to be honest.
Yeah.
So the only thing that literally the only mod on that guitar is that little fret wrap at the top.
Yeah.
Which I've only just seen you start using.
Yeah, that's because I only just got one, but I had one before, very early on, so before uni, before I met you. But I think it's different. Like, this new one seems a lot more rugged. My old one kind of died pretty quickly, especially for how much it cost. But these new ones, I mean, they look a lot more sturdier, and obviously I haven't had it for that long, so I can't speak on the durability of this one.
Has it got a little tick on it?
Yeah, it's got the little...
Yeah, it's the same one that I've got. Mine's lasted for forever for now. So what made you want to get a fret wrap on there? Was there a lot of noise you were getting in recordings, or was it just you wanted it to be a bit more cleaner when you were doing it?
It's just kind of for... So I didn't, like, don't get me wrong, I didn't record any of my EP with a fret wrap, and noise hasn't particularly been a problem, like, per se, like, because I don't play a ton of distorted stuff, but I just wanted it for when I did play that distorted stuff, for when I did play stuff that didn't have open strings, just for the sake of it. And I'm going to be doing a bit more recording for one of my lecturers. We're recording an album for that, and so I thought, I'll get it, just make it sound as good as possible, really.
Yes, well, especially if you're on a lecturer's project as well, because that's going to be heard by, probably quite a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
So you mentioned as well that you want a Strandberg when we were chatting about guitars, as we inevitably do at uni all the time.
Yeah,
so you mentioned a Strandberg. What's the deal? What's the deal? Why Strandberg?
I guess Strandberg, I really like, okay, this sounds really vain, I really like the look of a Strandberg. The headless, like, part of it is kind of, I like the idea that it's quite compact. It's not big, and I don't know why, but that kind of draws me to a lot of things. Is like doing things in a really kind of compact way. The they sound nice, obviously, especially for how, like, if you're paying that much money, then obviously you want it to sound nice. And the ergonomics of it, like the ender neck, the different ways of being able to sort of place it on your lap. And yeah, just kind of the look of it, really, the sound of it, everything that, you'd want in a guitar, every reason why you want a guitar is sort of there in the Strandberg for me. I'd quite like to get a 7-string version as well, because I've never had one, and I think that would be really cool to play with, like, clean chord voicings with that low 7th string.
Yeah, because it goes down to a B, I think, on a 7th string, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, so stock, it goes down to a B.
So I think you end up with, like, a B standard guitar with an extra E string on the bottom, or an E standard guitar with an extra B string.
Yeah.
So what's are you then, if you're fancying a 7th string, are you comfortable then that you're going to be like, you're spending, obviously Strandbergs are quite a bit of money. Are you comfortable that you're going to be spending, that amount of money on a 7th string guitar, not having really played one?
Oh, don't get me wrong, it's a risk for sure. It's a $2,000 risk.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I feel like, I've done a lot of research into 7 strings, going from 6 to 7. I've seen pros and cons, and for myself, I've sort of think, the pros outweigh the cons for, the little bit of time that it takes to get used to it. And, if I really hate it, I can just send it back and get a 6-string version. Like, it's not, it's not the end of the world if I do get it and it's not perfect. But I'm willing to take the risk to try it, because really, I've got a guitar with humbuckers. I've got a guitar with, single coils. I guess the only thing that I'd be missing in the Holy Trinity is, like, the telly. But for me, I'd much more value, like, a Strandberg 7-string at the minute.
Yeah. Well, it'll have coil splitting abilities and all that sort of thing anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And you can pretty much make things with all the modelling effects and stuff like that that's now out, obviously.
Yeah.
So you can make stuff sound that, but it was interesting to me when you said it the first time, because obviously that is the guitar you're holding right now and the guitar that's right there are really traditional. Like you said, you aren't the guy who is on the Ibanez with the EMGs, so it was quite a shock that you were going to go from a really traditional guitar to a completely headless. So is the headless thing something that you've just, that looks so cool, or was it more for just tuning stability and things that you liked the look of it?
It was definitely the appearance thing. It wasn't, don't get me wrong, it wasn't something that, like, struck me at first sight. I was like, I need one of those. I think it definitely has to do with my influences changing. So obviously earlier we talked about Slash, AC/DC, and even John Mayer, very traditional style players. But now my influences comes from them as well, but it's broadened out to people like Pliny, Polyphia, other artists in that kind of sphere. And a lot of them even play an Ibanez, like, especially like Ibanez AZ are really cool, the kind of Strat types, and then a Strandberg. So to me, the Strandberg is so different from this. Like, if I was to get an Ibanez AZ, obviously it's different, but I kind of have something similar already. So a Strandberg would be something completely different in that sort of sphere of instrumental rock music.
Yeah. So I know that you said as well you owned a Chapman before, and that you sold it because you were literally you couldn't get away from the Fender. You were just like, I'd just rather play everything on the Fender.
Yeah.
Do you think you're gonna have the same problem with Strandberg then?
I really hope not. I really hope this guitar is a blessing and a curse. Like, I am so unbelievably lucky to have this guitar, and I love it so much. But now whenever I go into a guitar shop and I try something, I just sort of go, I'd still rather play my Fender. But I mean, I'm never, it's not like I'm never gonna not buy a new guitar. I'm a guitarist, for goodness sake. That's all I ever think about. So
yeah.
I usually have to kind of take the risk, and I'm hoping that it's different enough that I'll have, reasons to play that rather than my Fender.
Rather than your Fender, yeah, and just like, Well, it's completely, like you say, it's a completely different style and that sort of thing. So, obviously, you are staying in York next year because you're living with Josh, one of our mutual friends. So, are you doing a masters? What's that in?
Well, actually, I've got a job next year. So I'm not actually living with Josh, unfortunately.
Oh, I
Which
thought
was
you
kind
were.
of a con of the job. Yeah, well, that was the original plan. Yeah, but I got a job at a boarding school teaching music there, and it's a part-time job, but it comes with free accommodation and free meals. So it's a big win. It's a big win.
That's a pretty big win.
I'm still thinking about doing a compositions masters.
Also, not education then.
No, thought about that a lot this year. Was where I wanted my kind of path to go eventually. Would I want to go into the education field or go into the making music and playing music field? And I realised that education will always be a part of my work to some capacity, but it's not what I want to completely devote myself to in the long run. I think I'd be much happier writing my own originals and getting better at that and being taking on commissions for that kind of work rather than being a school teacher.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, with nowadays with guitarists, there's like one. Well, even just musicians in general, there's that like I don't even know what the figure is. Probably the 1% who can sustain themselves on like their own output. So you've got like the big stars and that. So you've got to have like the multifaceted thing. So if teaching, so then you're just going to do the teaching on the side and then just write music. And are you joining bands, or are you just going to have like sort of you releasing your music under obviously your name?
I'm gonna definitely gonna join bands. That's something I've really missed during this lockdown thing, and it's something that really actually lends itself to my own writing of music is being in bands. Like I just get more inspired being around music in that capacity, and that just helps me compose better. I mean, these past few weeks, well, past few months, have been a bit harder to compose. Have been like a new challenge to compose new music because it's just me basically. All the inspiration comes from either YouTube or just from myself. Whereas before, obviously, on the music degree, music was like our lives. That whole time we were in that degree easily every day, all day. So yeah, I definitely still want to be in bands, but I still want to have my own band where I'm playing my own stuff. But yeah, definitely like kind of function bands, like working bands.
Oh, okay. So more of like bands in with people like jam bands and that sort of thing, rather than like you say like so you've got like your Chris Palmer with his band, and then rather than having something like another band like an AC/DC or some sort of band like that where you write material, it's more of a jam band or a working function band. It's just a
Yeah,
money thing.
yeah, that would probably go because like don't get me wrong, like I do enjoy I do enjoy the stuff that function bands play. Anyway, I like funk. I like playing like some pop, but obviously it always has to be a balance. And I think if you're a playing musician, then unfortunately the way it is for the most of us, as you said, it's 1% who get to do their own thing. You have to kind of play to what people want, which is usually funky pop stuff.
Yeah, funky
Yeah.
pop covers and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So this is unfortunately the last question. If you had to recommend a song or an album for people to check out, what would it be?
A song or an album?
So it can be a one that you really love, or that is influenced you heavily, or that you just really love at the moment.
So a couple of artists, especially in the sphere of instrumental guitar playing, I'd say Covet is a really cool band, three-piece band from America that I got to see live last year. They're really cool. They've inspired a lot of my latest EP, I'd say. David Maxim Mikic, I want to say is his name. Really cool album. 685 Days is a really nice song. And then I'd listen to someone like a composer like Kevin Penkin. Is a really cool guy. He does a lot of blending of instrumentals with like electronic stuff, which is where I'd like to take some of my future music. He's one of my current inspirations.
Also to go like the obviously you mentioned Pliny before, so that's sort of like have the instrumental synths and all that sort of thing coming in
Yeah.
to the music there.
Yeah.
Rather than going into that like sort of, because there's sort of like a couple of spheres, isn't there? There's like the more instrumentally electronica guys who do the prog, and then there's the guys who do all the metal stuff. So you're more in that camp.
Yeah,
in the other camp.
I'm definitely more in that camp. I'm not quite as technically proficient as they are. You know, they are like amazing. But I'm just kind of trying to carve out my own niche in that little part, which
your own sort of style.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're coming from John Mayer and AC/DC and all that sort of thing, so you've got quite a heavy blues influence on there, which I didn't even know you had, to be honest. I knew you liked John Mayer, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
I came into uni as a blues head. I'm sure you knew.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
you've sort of, we've made actually the same jump, but I've gone in a different direction as at the more metal side, and you're going to the cleaner side.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had my metal phase.
Well, you played the what was it, your teen emo band last
Oh
year.
yeah. I mean, that was just like great fun. It was just a great throwback to my teen emo phase, which to be honest, I'm not fully out of, and that's still obviously I still like playing that music. I played in some like rock bands during uni that play that kind of style. So yeah, that's never really left me. But currently, I'm really enjoying playing with clean, really nice like kind of chord extensions in my music, and really, yeah, I think the gear that I have really lends to a nice clean sound as well. So that's the stuff that I'm interested in right now.
Well, that's something we didn't actually talk about. What gear you actually use? So obviously, I know you've got a little amp at uni. I can't remember the name of it now. Is it a crate? No, it's not a crate. What's the amp at uni you've got? You've got your little amp.
I've got a Tech 21.
That's the one. You've got your Tech 21 amp, and then you've got your pedal board with that sort of stuff. But is that what you've recorded your album with, or do you record it with a different thing?
No, I actually completely solely recorded my album with my laptop, my audio interface, and the Pliny plugin from Neural DSP. I bought that, but I tried it out last summer on the trial and just thought, yeah, this sounds great, and I love the idea of basically just having very little gear to transport around. That's currently what I kind of go to for the most part, is that digital setup, as I think loads of people are transitioning over to that now, and I'm just looking to buy like a MIDI controller for that, a MIDI commander, and then make transition to that sort of digital setup.
Well, I can definitely recommend the MIDI commander that I've got, which is the Mellow Audio. Because I was just about to ask you, is that what you're going to do live? So you're going to go to that sort of, you're going to try and be no stage sound and have the in-ear monitors sort of thing?
Yeah, I'm working it out. I'm no expert at this sort of stuff. So I'm still like researching, like, how exactly does this work? Like, where do I put my laptop on a gig? Like, where would I even put that? Like, and then but I'm sure conversations with you, I'll work it out. But yeah, that's hopefully once we get back to being able to gig, that'll be something that I'm looking more into and spending some more money on.
Yeah, always spending money on this hobby. I think it's probably one of the worst hobbies for money spending, apart from collecting cars or something like that. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, all the creative people, don't actually spend that much money. I think we just kind of spend a lot of money because we're like, yes, we need more gear. If I had this gear, then I could do this thing. And it's like, no,
it's that thing in your mind of, this is going to make me better. That's that sort of mindset that, like, if I buy this is going to make me a better player. And that's like the mindset that every guitarist seems to have in these things.
Literally. I've been pretty good at holding that back, but it does, obviously, it gets us all. We can never escape it, really.
Yeah. I think once you're in it for life, really.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you run out of money, obviously, then you're buggered.
Then you got to sell it all. That's awful.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you very much. That was obviously an interview with yourself there. So I'm hoping to get you on the channel, as I said earlier, to do a few reviews. We've got a few ideas of things, and I am actually, as I said to you, I'm looking for a 7-string, a cheaper one, or just something that I can try, and then obviously that'll be really helpful for you, because then you can try a 7-string out and not have to blow $2,000 on that.
yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah,
So,
that'll definitely be useful.
Fantastic. So,
Great.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I do hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so I've just stopped chatting with Chris. That was a really fun interview for me. It was a lot. Learned a lot about a friend of mine who, I knew quite a few bits, but I obviously learned a lot about his guitar playing, and who his influences are. Definitely go and check out his stuff. It'll be all linked in the description, and when his EP's out, if you've not followed him and you're watching later down the line, then when that EP comes out, I'll link that down below as well, and all that good stuff. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like and subscribe and comment, all those good things, and hopefully we can get another guest on soon. The end goal being getting the bigger personalities in music, find out about them from the questions that I'm asking. So thank you very much, guys, and I will see you all in the next one.